This is everything wrong with the Nintendo Switch 2. Hi there fellow Nintendo gamers, I'm Veggie Vulture and this is your go-to YouTube channel for anything Nintendo Switch 2. And it is no secret that I adore and love my Nintendo Switch 2. It's right here next to me, and when I'm downstairs in front of my big ass television, it's right there. When I'm in my car waiting for somebody or something like that, it is in my car and I'm playing it. I love my Nintendo Switch 2 and it is well on its way of becoming my absolute favorite console of all time. But it isn't perfect. As a matter of fact, you can see this video as somewhat of a guide to see if the Nintendo Switch 2 as a console is for you, because as much as I love it, there are some things absolutely wrong with it. But if you're like me, you will find that these 5 things are nothing more than minor inconveniences. But without further ado, let's get into the first thing that I really hate about the Nintendo Switch 2, and it's probably the thing that I hate the most about the Nintendo Switch 2, and that is the messaging system, or I should say the lack thereof. I remember on the Xbox, I'm 38 years old right now, I have bought a lot of consoles, played a lot of consoles, but my most multiplayer days where we had like a group of friends who played together all the time are on Xbox One, the first Xbox, just like the original Xbox, and the Xbox 360. And something that you can do on Xbox is you can send text messages and even voice messages to your friends on Xbox. And this is something I do not understand that Nintendo hasn't done this yet. Well, I kind of understand why they're not doing it, because it's Nintendo. Nintendo don't really want to like have that open thing where you can send messages to everybody, because I remember on Xbox when I was playing, like, I don't know, Call of Duty back in the day, I got like messages like you suck and you should kill yourself and that kind of stuff. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about messaging your friends, people who are actually in your friend group, in your friend list. You cannot do that right now. Now we have voice chat, really good, functional, simple voice chat that works really well. The microphone on the Nintendo Switch 2 right here on the top of the damn thing, there is a little microphone right here. It works like a charm. I have got my headset, well, my earbuds plugged in right here. It's just like phone earbuds plugged into my Pro controller. Works really good, but you can only like dial somebody up when they're online, right? And then they need to accept, and then you're talking to those people. Being able to send messages across the platform to your friends is something that I really want to do, especially like voice messages. I remember back in the day when Destiny came out, and I was like on the fence about buying it, and I sent a text message to somebody in my friends list who I saw was playing Destiny. Was like, hey, how's Destiny? I'm on the fence about it. And he sent me like a 2-minute voice message back, like, this is like the greatest game. Like, I wasn't online when he sent that message back, and that's the great thing about it. I came online, saw the message. We didn't have to be online at the same time, and he was like, dude, this is the greatest shooter I've ever played, you should buy it. And then I bought it and I never regretted it. I loved Destiny, by the way. Now, that is something that I miss about the Nintendo Switch. Now, I totally get that they don't want to do it on the console itself. Absolutely 100% agree with it, because like my kid plays my Switch and I don't want my kid to receive messages from people and that kind of stuff. It's not necessarily, but they introduced something called the Nintendo Switch app, and the Nintendo Switch app is a great app for like I have it set up when Sam, my main Nintendo buddy, comes online. I get a pop-up, Sam is online. I can run to my Switch and be like, hey Sam, let's play together. Have the message system be on your phone then. Now, I totally get that in today's day and age, most people who play together with their friends have each other on Discord, they have each other on messenger systems or whatever. I totally get that, but for me, having all of that like in that one system, especially like those friends that I meet, let's say I meet somebody in a Facebook group of Fantasy Life, and they're like, here's my friend code, let's run through a dungeon together, and I run through a dungeon with them, and I have a heck of a blast with them. I add them on voice chat and we're like chatting and we have a good night, just being buddies and running through Fantasy Life. And we're like, you know, we should play together more often. Having a way to send them a message over my console instead of having to ask them for their Discord or what are other credentials is just something I really want, but I'm afraid we'll never get it because it's Nintendo. The second thing is something that a lot of people point out, but it is a little bit less of a problem for me. The messaging system is not something that I would not buy the console for, especially since we have voice messaging now. We have voice chat now. The battery life. The battery life of the Nintendo Switch 2 it's bad. It is really, really bad. Now, the Nintendo Switch 2 is a lot more powerful than the Nintendo Switch. It has a bigger screen. It has more power. It runs freaking games like Cyberpunk in a very good way on like 40 frames per second-ish, right? So it is a powerful handheld. I'm not calling it a powerful console. Mark my words. I'm calling it a powerful handheld. It's a powerful thing that you hold in your hands and it sucks up battery life, like really, really fast. Now, for me personally, that's not the biggest problem because in today's day and age, you are very close to a power outlet anyway, most of the time, when you need it. Like even on a freaking plane, if you're playing it on a plane, most planes have power outlets, right? But also for me, I'm an adult with a full-time job. I have 2 kids. I have a house. I have a dog. I've got all of that crap going on in my life, right? So for me, playing a video game, if my battery life lasts 2.5 hours, I'll probably spend an hour of that asleep with the Nintendo Switch 2 on my chest. So a lot of times when my girlfriend wants to go to sleep, she goes to sleep and I go to sleep as well, but I bring my Switch into the bedroom and I just play my Switch in the bed, right? So having 2 hours, I never play that long anyway. Like I do play that long, but when I do that, it is an actual gaming session with my buddy, with Sam, that I do on the television, like on a Friday night. Most of the time I sit down with my Pro Controller and I just like have this more real gaming session of like 3, 4, sometimes even longer hours, just like pure video gaming and enjoying myself, right? So, but when I just casually play handheld around the house, most of the time, 2.5, 3 hours for me is more than enough. But I totally 100% get that some people are annoyed by this, that some people who make long car drives, who are on a plane often, are on a bus often, or do have long stretcher, like commuters who go long stretches in a vehicle, or I don't know, I know a person who is in the army and has a Nintendo Switch and a Nintendo Switch 2 right now, and who, when he's off, he plays his Nintendo Switch, but a lot of the times they're out on a base where there's like limited access to power outlets, that kind of stuff. I do absolutely get that it is a problem for those people. For me personally, in like actual real life use, it's not as much as a problem as some people would let you to believe. Now, something else that is really a downside about the console, but less of a downside in the real world for me, again, is the internal memory. The Nintendo Switch 2, if I'm not mistaken, has 556 or is it 512 gigabytes of internal storage. It has more than 500 gigabytes of internal. Let's say it has half a terabyte, right? So it has half a terabyte of internal storage. Now, from the Nintendo Switch 1 to 16 gigabytes, that's a big step up. But the Nintendo Switch 2, again, being a much more powerful handheld, a much more powerful device, it will have much bigger games. We're already seeing this. We're already seeing like games of like 80, 90 gigs, 70 gigs here, 24 gigs there, and there's probably going to be a lot of third-party support for the console in the future, because a lot of third-party companies are saying like, this is really easy to develop for. This is like an actual console we can put our games on, right? So I'm expecting like the Call of Duties. I'm expecting like big ass games coming, and we all know that a Call of Duty with like the online what is it, the Battlegrounds thing is like, I don't know, 150 gigs or something like that. So it will fill up pretty damn fast if you're trying to install multiple so-called AAA games. I never really use that term because I don't believe in the term, because I think it's just a term that's made up by people who want to like sell you really beautiful looking games that run like absolute crap. But with so-called AAA games, it will fill up quite fast, and even with like mid games, it will fill up after a while. Now, there is a solution in the micro SD card department, but that is another downside I will talk about. It leads me into that one. The thing that I want to say, it in real life, actually, it doesn't really bother me that much, because I was first of all not willing to pay 50 or 100 euros more for a console that had a terabyte or 750 gigs or something like that, because if you want to pay that 50 or $100 extra, you can do so by buying an SD card. But for the 450 euros that the console costs, 500, like half a terabyte, is absolutely enough. And also, again, real life, having a kid, having 2 kids, having a wife, having a dog, having a house, I almost always only play 1 or 2, sometimes 3 games actually actively. So right now I'm playing Mario Kart because it's new. It's the thing that will stay installed on my Switch for its entire lifetime probably. I'm playing Fantasy Life I, and I'm dabbling in No Man's Sky. These are the games, 3 games that I'm actively playing right now, right? Now also Nintendo has said that all of their first party games will come on a cartridge. I'm planning to buy all first party games, except for Mario Kart because it came in the box, on a cartridge. So that's not an install right there. So 3 games, 4 games even, installing that and actually playing those actively, it will not fill up. For example, when and if Digital Extremes ever makes a Switch 2 version of Warframe, which I really want to see this, I'm going to reinstall Warframe, jump back into Warframe. Absolutely love that game. It just didn't run well enough in the later game part on the original Switch. But I really want to reinstall that, so I'll have Mario Kart and Warframe installed at all times, and all of the other games will just go from my hard drive, and I will just install other games. Now, this is something that I absolutely also like to do. I really like, every now and then, once a month, to clean up the hard drive of my console. I've always done that, and all of the consoles that I have owned, like on my Xbox 360 is always like, oh, just going to go through my library and delete games and save files that I really don't need anymore. It's just a good habit to have for me in the actual real life usage that counts for me. But for those hardcore game collectors that want to install every game, that buy every game when there is a big promotion going on, and you buy every game and you start installing all of those games, you want those games always to be in your Switch, 500 gigs can fill up pretty damn fast in 2025. Now that brings me into the next point, which is actually a positive thing about the Nintendo Switch that right now is an inconvenience, and that is the micro SD express cards. Nintendo has chosen to use micro SD express cards and only exclusively use and accept micro SD express cards. Now, why is this a good thing? Express cards are incredibly fast. They're almost as fast, I think, as the internal memory, so it helps with load times. It helps with, like, more open world games will be rendered much easier in the future. We're already, like, seeing that with, like, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, where everything pops in much sooner and all of that stuff. Open world games will load in much faster. It will be easier with faster memory, right? I'm not talking about RAM, I'm talking about the actual memory where the game files are on, and it needs to put that on the system in order for you to see it. Is all. I'm not getting technical with this. I mean just like fast memory, fast cards. But there's 2 reasons why it is a minor inconvenience, well, a huge inconvenience for a lot of people right now, and it is they're freaking expensive and they're hard to get. Like, they're really, really expensive. I don't know out of the top of my head how expensive they are, but they're really damn expensive. And I'm not buying one right now because I don't need one. 500 gigs, 550 gigs, whatever is enough for me right now for like the first year, the first 2 years. I will probably buy one later down the line, but the good news is with all new technology, it will probably get much cheaper pretty damn fast. So if you are able to just live with the internal memory for a while and just delete games when you're not playing them actively, I suggest just wait for another year or so, and the prices will probably be cut in half. That's what I'm guessing. I don't know for sure, but that's what most of those new-ish things that come out. And micro SD express cards right now are just too expensive to buy, which makes it an inconvenience, but not a reason not to buy the console right now, to my opinion. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about is one of the main reasons that people are not buying the Nintendo Switch 2 right now, and I totally 100% get it. For me personally, it's not a reason not to get it. Obviously, because I have one right here, which follows me everywhere, and I absolutely adore it. But for a lot of people, it is, and I absolutely understand it, and that is the lack of... I can get my Switch into the dock. Wait, right there. Yeah. That is the lack of first-party exclusive games for the Nintendo Switch 2. Right now, that's basically only Mario Kart and the Nintendo Switch 2 Tour thingy that we don't talk about because it costs $10 and it should be a packed-in game, right? So Mario Kart World is the only real exclusive on the console right now. So for people who are not really into Mario Kart and they want like the next gen Zelda, or they want the Gen 10 Pokemon, or they want, I don't know, they want, they're waiting for Metroid, or they're waiting for Luigi's Mansion 4 like I am, those people should not pick up a Nintendo Switch 2 right now. For me, the reason to actually pick it up ties into that, because the fact that it is just a more powerful Switch system is the reason why I'm buying it. I'm buying it to actually play a lot of my games, my backlog games, or games that are cross-gen, Nintendo gen, of course. So for example, Fantasy Life I, it's much nicer on the Nintendo Switch 2. No Man's Sky is a completely different game on the Nintendo Switch 2. I know they're old games, but I really want to play it. But I want to play them in a good and better manner, in a more modern way. So, which is for me a perfect reason to buy Nintendo Switch 2. So a lot of people tell me like, why would you buy this thing? It's just a Nintendo Switch, just a little bit more powerful and a little bit bigger. Yes, that's exactly why I'm buying it. When I'm playing my original Switch for the last 3 or 4 years, I've always been thinking like, God, I wish this had a voice chat feature and it was a little bit more powerful. Now they've given me that, I'm buying it. But yes, there's a lack of first-party games right now. There is Donkey Kong is of course coming. We know Metroid Prime 4 is coming this year. We know Pokemon Legends CA is coming later in the year. There's probably more things announced that are coming. We know there's a lot of stuff coming. But right now, to actually buy it for its system seller, for a lot of people that's just not the case. Mario Kart is a system seller for a lot of people, but absolutely not for everybody. And that's it. Those are my 5 things wrong with the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, if, like me, for you, these are just minor inconveniences that do not weigh up to the incredible cool console that it is a simple console that plays video games very well, has a lot of really cool social features, has a lot of really good games, and has a really bright future ahead when it comes to third-party support and actual first-party games that are coming to it. Then I suggest you buy it, or you buy it later down the line, because these downsides are, after all, for me, just inconveniences, and every console has inconveniences. For example, the Xbox One, which is right there, had the inconvenience of just being overly complicated in the menus. I sometimes had to like look for my games. I don't know why they did that, but that's just Microsoft, right? So everything has downsides, and if you like what I do on my channel right here, talk about the Nintendo Switch and all of that jazz, make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, put something in the comments. Helps a small YouTuber like myself out a lot. And until next video, bye bye.